What is up, guys? Rick Kakas here, and today we have a huge Destiny 2 video, and that's because we have an incredibly useful tip for how to increase your power level. This tip will put you into the upper echelon of possible light levels. This tip will immensely help in getting you raid ready. So, what are we talking about? Well, yesterday I posted a guide for how to increase your power level fast, going over the best activities and a bunch of other tips. This video is much more in-depth in one key area, and that is completely explaining and understanding the mod system. And trust me, it very much does have something to do with the power level system. Now, I've seen a ton of confusion and misunderstanding around this issue. I've seen YouTubers post entire videos getting this completely wrong. But today, we're going to explain it. If you learned something new in this video, please take the time to smack that like button. And so, let's get started. Now, some of you may have noticed when playing Destiny 2, or perhaps watching or listening to other people play, that exotics seem to get an infusion buff. Whereas if you have an exotic gear piece and you infuse a blue rare gear piece or a purple legendary gear piece into that exotic, the exotic comes out the other end with a higher power level than you would otherwise expect. For example, let's say you've got a exotic fusion rifle laying around from when you got it at level 11 from a public event. So it's only 150 power level. And then you've got a brand spanking new good fusion rifle that is 260, a legendary fusion rifle. So you want to infuse your exotic and you assume it's going to infuse to 260. I mean, that's the light level of your fusion rifle. But you'll notice that every single time it's going to infuse not to 260 but to 265. It seems to be that exotics get a 5 power level buff every time they are infused. That's really cool. It just means that exotics have a bonus, right? Well, actually, that's not at all the case. What's actually going on in the background here is that exotics come with a legendary mod for weapons and for armor. So this applies to both weapons and armor in Destiny 2. This is why your exotic gear pieces are always coming out with higher power levels than your other stuff. If you go and inspect any exotic piece of gear, you will see that it always has a purple legendary mod within it. Now, these purple legendary mods are the key to increasing your power level more than all of your friends who don't know about this, because these legendary mods give you 5 more power levels to anything they are equipped to. Let me say that again. Any gear piece in Destiny 2 that gets a purple legendary mod is going to gain 5 power levels instantly. That is a big deal. You may have noticed that sometimes, even when you get non-exotic legendary gear from a faction vendor, that one of the rewards are a lot higher than you're used to, and that's because that gear has come automatically with a legendary mod. Yes, gear can outright come automatically with these legendary mods equipped. That's exactly what happened with my main ingredient legendary fusion rifle. I got it 265 when my other stuff was dropping at 260, and I thought I just got incredibly lucky, but it actually is because it automatically came with a legendary void mod. And this means that it's actually 260, like it actually dropped at 260, but it displayed 265 because of the mod. This also means that even if you're stuck at 265, you can go beyond it with use of this mod, because if you infuse this 265, and you'll see me do it in the background, if you infuse this 265 main ingredient, it'll actually go to 270 because it still gains that extra 5. So as soon as you watch this video, guys, go on Destiny 2 and check all of your legendary weapons and armor, even ones that are much lower light level. Even if you have a 240 helmet, that helmet may come with a legendary mod automatically equipped, which means if you infuse a 265 into it, it's going to become 270. Now, aside from just randomly getting them automatically equipped to your gear, how do you get mods in Destiny 2? And more importantly, how do you get legendary mods? Well, frankly, the main way is going to be from the gunsmith. He is going to, firstly, every time you level him up, give you a chance to get rare and sometimes, if you're lucky, legendary mods. Also, you can outright buy mods from him once you've reached 280 light, which is definitely a stretch. But once you do reach 280 light, you're going to buy as many mods as you want, and you're going to level up even further from that point. Additionally, you can also buy random mods from him. However, I spent around 80,000 Glimmer just buying mods for this video, and then promptly lost the footage of me doing so because I accidentally overwrit the gameplay. But long story short, 80,000 Glimmer later, and I got zero, I repeat, zero legendary mods, all rares. So either I got incredibly unlucky and the chances are just really small, or you can't get them at all from this random mod slot. Now, it should be mentioned that you can also get mods from Eververse. Now, you actually, when I looked at the loot table, you couldn't get legendary mods, just the blue mods, but that's something to definitely keep in mind. And also, guys, remember that mods are a permanent thing. If you're lucky enough to get a scout rifle with a legendary kinetic mod, you're golden. You can get that 5 power levels above pretty much anything else. But if you try to replace it with something, or a better example would be an energy weapon with a void legendary mod, and you want to replace it or switch it out with a solar legendary mod, that void one will disappear. It will disappear into the ether. Whatever mod you have on is a mod it sticks with. If you want to switch it, it deletes the one you currently had on. So do not switch around your legendary mods unless you are absolutely sure. And so, guys, those are the ins and outs of weapon and armor mods. You should now be climbing the power level scale with that new information. But there is one more thing I really want to mention. Essentially, it's another tip. It's a 2-in-1 tip for you guys. And it's that most of you are going to find that the power level of the gear pretty much plateaus at 265. You'll find that right away. But it kind of doesn't. And what I mean by that is once you start ascending in those power levels, once you get much higher than 265, we're talking 275 plus, you're actually going to start dragging the light level of those faction bonuses and engrams and so on with you. Seriously, once you get to around 275, the light level for the blue gear that drops, I'm talking normal blue gear from rewards of lost sectors and public events, is actually going to be 267, potentially 268. Yes, you're actually going to, again, as you level up, drag that lower level gear with you. It basically can only be around 10-ish power levels lower than your current power level. Now, this matters very much because once you're using this mod information to make all of your gear, hopefully 270, you're going to start to get 266s and 267 gear pieces dropping. And once you do so, remember to keep infusing. That 270 gear that you have because of a mod is actually just 265. So if you infuse a 267 into it, it's going to go, instead of 270, to 272. And one last quick tip for you guys. Everything we've learned about mod slots in this video essentially works in reverse, in the sense that if you're trying to infuse especially exotic gear into other gear or other exotic gear, be aware that that gear is essentially 5 power levels lower than is what is displayed. So don't get tricked and see a 270 piece of exotic gear, infuse it into something, and that something comes out 265. Well, it's because the extra 5 levels were from the mod slot, so don't get tricked by that either. And so guys, that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed and found it informative. Now if you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. Those who do are the true MVPs. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. But if you actually want to be notified of new uploads, be sure to press the bell beside subscribe. Now if you guys want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickKakis. That's linked in the description down below, as is my Twitch channel, which you can also follow. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.